Saturday showdown. D+ Kia versus BNK Fear X.
Number one.
Yeah, I have a quick bonus fact for you that production has supplied us with. So, KO&DRX, we've been talking about a good amount because obviously they played on Sunday. The only way that Rise Group chances stay alive is if Bro win, Legend Group, sorry, is if Bro win with a 2-1 scoreline.
Yeah.
If Bro win 2-0, then they can't make it into Legend Group. And if D+ win at all, they can't make it into Legend Group. So very specific outcomes needed for KO&DRX to make it. We kind of saw that the odds were very low for them when we discussed it at the start of the week.
Yeah. We are going to see the Lucian banned here. There's a lot of stuff to ban, and we're seeing stuff like Karma, like Rumble get through.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some of these picks toned down a little bit, like the Karma. But I think, yeah, it's at the point where there's a lot of stuff that you really want to remove from the game, and you kind of have to pick and choose at this point. Varus has kind of felt like the one that stuck it and maintained it. Orianna, a good amount as well. But this time, so Varus Lee Sin banned. Orianna is available. Rumble is available. Jarvan is available. Bard Ezreal available. There's a lot of things on the cards. A lot of power picks that could potentially be looked at. And I think D+ are always going to get strong picks. You know, even though they're on second pick, they will get 2 picks, and there's a lot of strong things available. It's like, what do you not want to go against in a first pick? And they end up going for the Elise ban, so not even slightly bothered about all these power picks. I like, keep the pool open. We'll just pick, we'll pick 2 of them. You only get 1 as your first choice, and it's going to be the Orianna. The Orianna definitely feeling like off the picks that get banned. That's one that people have hung on to the most, other than maybe Varus, and have kept as a consistent ban, so it makes sense they prioritize it heavily. But here, for D+, you have options. You could go for the Jarvan. You could go like Jarvan and then start picking up the Ashe Seraphine. Works pretty well. You could just end up going Rumble Jarvan. That's also very powerful. Really depends where you want to emphasize with your picks. They end up going for the Jarvan Bard, which is, well, interesting in my opinion. I mean, we've seen Bard have some really big performances in the right hands, but there's, as I said, a lot of power picks available. I do think this is kind of threatening Hanji and Brion if they go for a mobile bot lane like Ashe Seraphine. Playing into Bard Jarvan is dangerous.
I mean, they could just get Nautilus and Rumble. I feel like you're in a really good spot there. You have enough CC with the Nautilus. You have the Rumble. It's just very strong.
And we've kind of already seen the Nautilus into Bard rotund hitbox situation.
Yep.
So definitely something to put the pressure down there. I like the Ezreal pickup. Ezreal, obviously not a mobile, anything but, and can do a good job of mitigating some of the pressure that a Jarvan Bard puts out. Also, Ezreal Bard, pretty popular lane, not giving them the window to have that. Will D+ take a mid to match up in the Orianna here? Will they take a AD carry to pair up with Bard? There's still like Jim Bard, Kate Bard. I think there's still a lot of options for the AD carry pairing, but they opt to go for it anyway. Wanting to go for the Sivir. Not something we see paired up with Bard as much. The Spell Shield obviously has good value into the Nautilus, into the Ezreal, into the Orianna, but a short-range AD carry can feel a little bit vulnerable. Maybe you want to trim away some of these junglers that might give the Sivir a hard time. You know, that like teams have gone like the Vi Nautilus, and obviously into Sivir you can just alter. We'll start off with the Xin Zhao ban though.
Yeah, it's definitely a good shout. I think Gideon Xin Zhao has been just behind, I was going to say Kanavi, but also Owner is like an insane Xin Zhao. So it's like, I guess we just have a lot of good Xin Zhao players in the LCK, and he's really strong right now.
Fairy ban will come through as well. Pick that we saw nerfed on this patch, but priority has been rising. Cassiopeia with the Deathfire touches has been monstrous, so getting rid of that, not wanting to deal with it. I think there's, you know, options like the Rise could be an okay ban in this situation. Going for the LeBlanc instead. Obviously a Showmaker special. Presumably going to see the mid picked here. Orianna laning is a little obnoxious, so something that can match up into that is important.
Zyra mid. He was the one who did it last time into Orianna.
Yep.
I saw him laughing, and I'm like, yep, it's coming through. And they don't have to pick it. They might just hover it and then pick something normal. Yep, there's the Victor. So Victor and Sivir, that's a lot of late game damage. Victor now at a 9% win rate.
Wow. That's not so great. Yeah, it appears he has 1 win and 10 losses. Rumble, going through to the second rotation, kind of crazy that this is allowed to happen.
Yeah.
Obviously, as we said, he's been left through the bans more, but a little wild he gets this deep and still is able to be picked.
Yeah, could just pick Rumble Vi.
Could just go Rumble Vi.
And win the draft.
Yeah, Rumble Wukong also pretty fine. I feel there's options for sure right now for Gideon. Rumble Pantheon, also solid. Honestly, kind of hard to go wrong with a lot of the junglers available right now in terms of pairing with this composition. A lot of threat to the Victor, a lot of threat to the Sivir, and into the Rumble, it looks like it might just be the Cassante, which, you know, we talked a lot about the Doran's Helm helping him out, that did just get buffed. But I have some concerns for this D+K composition. It's a 2-carry composition, you need your Victor and Sivir to be strong, a lot of threats on the side of Hanj and Brion, and not the easiest threats to deal with. Rumble and Orianna, I feel like, aren't always picks you can just take out of a fight early. The shockwave impact, if you're diving onto an Orianna, can be massive. On top of the fact you can build things like Seekers, give her that element of safety. And obviously Ezreal, in Teddy's hands, has just been an absolute crazy pick.
Yeah, I kind of wanted the Rumble earlier on, but they got it later anyway. It's just kind of insane because they get so much comfort, so much power. Like, I don't know if Bro really could have wanted anything else. They kind of just got everything they wanted. I mean, even picking up the Nautilus early to set up the Orianna, to set up the Rumble, to get a Pantheon on top of that, I don't know. It just feels like they're kind of winning everywhere. I mean, in terms of some of the matchups, you know, the Cassante comes out to counter the Bard. I think Shu could have a fun time there. Victor and Orianna should be relatively even. I think Showmaker is going to be fine on the Victor in mid at least. But in terms of power, these picks on the side of Bro are just kind of insane, considering they got all 5 of them. So we are ready, guys. Let's hop into the rift for game number 1.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
Here we go, game number 1. As I definitely heard some fan cheering before the fan chant.
No way.
Breaking the law. No, I mean, he probably just doesn't know about the fan chant.
I bet it was Degon. He's been trying so hard to
sneak into the crowd and pretend like he's a Bro fan.
Incorporate himself into the Bro fandom. He's just trying to copy what did. So I could see him doing that. Trying to get a jump on the fan. That's the point of the fan chant. You chant together.
Yeah. I mean, it's understandable. Bro are a very strong team that are on a recent upswing. And it's nice to kind of get in before everyone else. Like what did.
Yeah. Showmaker getting some good trades off here into the Orianna. Obviously very confident on the Victor pick. We've seen Showmaker play it a fair few times before. But doesn't have the most impact in like 2v2s. And also, we've seen the Orianna Pantheon combo where, so can you believe, Brendan, what they do is they Pantheon stun and then they shockwave.
That's mind-blowing.
It is. It's surprising, but
Yeah.
that is what they look to do. And I feel like a Victor is pretty vulnerable to that. They're looking to get some pressure down here. Oh, Roma, you are...
I mean, he's probably just going to have to flash. Nope, just going to walk.
There was a moment he walked up, I'm like, wow, you are... Oh, okay, he just backed off. Backed up the right amount, and he is able to mitigate that gank. Does now have information on Lucid, and Gideon hasn't done his red buff yet. Okay. Well, you don't have a mid lane at the moment, Gideon, so...
Wow. Lucid going to go pretty deep. He does miss the flag drag.
Yeah, the red buff being left till last here, and Lucid having the red buff is a lot of power early on. So I think Gideon really having to respect that. The Jarvan in general, the extra attack speed is a massive aspect.
I mean, it just comes down to the wire there, nicely
Ooh.
timed by Lucid.
Yeah, that was slick.
Kind of like getting the fake reset and then going back into the circle.
A double red picked up for Lucid, denies away Gideon's red buff. And now he's going to look to fight him.
Yeah, the Orianna's actually here first, off the TP, so this is going to be advantage, bro, for the mid and jungle. They also have the Rumble coming down, so I think Lucid just going to have to give this one up. But Gideon is super low, actually. He's going to have to flash the flag, and it's actually Gideon who does have to give up the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, Lucid kiting away from this one, getting some good damage down, stacking up Conqueror, and using the red buff. And then, even though Showmaker's later, it's the fact he's kind of cutting off Gideon from one side, forces him to flash away. And Lucid's just going to go to his freshly spawned camps, which, if you want to maintain momentum, this makes a lot of sense. The respawn camps have more experience available to them. He's wanting to take advantage of the fact that he stole away from Gideon and managed to bully him out of his flash there as well.
Yeah. Sometimes Career is just a crazy clutch player. Doesn't happen every single game, but sometimes he'll just make that game-changing play. The first one was Bard versus Genji. And then the second one was the Seraphine ult we saw last week, which was just insanity. That one was up against HLE. And they did end up losing that series 0-2, but sometimes he just shows up and plays like a crazy man. So excited to see his Bard again.
See what he can do, if he can find some great angles. I think it was it into Ezreal as well when he found the Bard play?
I think so.
If I remember correctly, I think, yeah. Obviously a pick with a lot of potential on what it can do, the angles it can find. There's some pretty great Bard players in the LCK. Right now, I did see Namgu moving up through the river. Have a control ward in the banana brush. Oh, ult comes out from Shiwu. Casting pretty close to tower, but will flash away regardless. Playing it safe.
Yeah, maybe just didn't want to get chunked out there. But now he's going to be down his flash. And up against a Jarvan can get you in a lot of trouble if you don't have mobility outside of that. So we'll see if Lucid visits that lane anytime soon. Showmaker's having a fine time here in mid. I mean, Orianna's very strong. Part of her strength is her laning. But against Victor, can be a little bit of an issue because you just get outranged by the laser. And if the Victor player's good, he's just going to outpoke you.
Yeah.
And even if you go in and get some burst damage, then he can just Q and get a shield, and it gets annoying. And going for extended trades against the Victor also doesn't really work. Especially if you fall behind like he has.
Yeah, the Faded Ashes pick up early as well. Roma went for the Dark Seal, which is an investment effectively. If you can get some stacks out of that compared to the Faded Ashes damage, which already is helping Showmaker. When you get hit by an ability, there's the Faded Ashes, there's Death by a Touch. There's a lot of additional damage. Roma's going to move down and pick up this Honey Fruit. We're trying to help him out in that lane.
Yeah. Honey Fruit, much like Disengage Cones, can sometimes lead to less action. Where it's like, oh, you had an advantage, your mid laner's pushing, he's pushing the other mid laner out, getting ahead, and then the other guy just goes on the river, picks up Honey Fruit, and he's right back in it. But Disengage Cones are still worse. So
That's your tier list. So you think Scrying Orb is the best, then Honey Fruit, then Disengage Cone?
yeah.
Okay.
It's a pretty clear, I mean, it makes sense to me. I'm not sure how you feel about it.
I don't mind Honey Fruit as much.
Yeah, it happens very rarely, whereas Disengage Cones happen like once a game at least. So it's hard to beat the cones.
Yeah, that was a perfect 1,000 smite. Like the dragon's health went exactly to 1,000. Getting the max value from the smite. We don't see that, we don't see that very often. That's
it's perfect timing, you know. It allows him to get right back to his jungle at the exact right time.
He was like shocked for a second because it was a little like it was at 1,000 for a while. I was like, wait a minute.
Did I just do that? No. I think he missed that. I think he missed that one. That ranged minion.
Casting missed a cannon earlier, so he's already having a bit of a toughie.
Still ahead of you.
True.
In terms of numbers. And the numbers are really what matter. He was ahead on CS, and he's 53 gold ahead. Massive. Career trying to come up here and make the best of casting not having flash. Nice dodge there on the Cassante play. And the second they say Gideon, they say, well, I guess we're not going to do this. His career's going to go out. Nice little hook here from Namgung, but it's just him versus Lucid at the moment.
Yeah,
so
plays
no follow-up.
The Aftershock a decent amount there. Now, neither team has the AD carry here, but it does look like they're setting up for something. I think she was going to TP back in, yeah, on full HP.
Shockwave comes out here, Namgung right here. Showmaker in a lot of trouble. That's first blood just given over to Roamer just like that. Showmaker not showing the respect required. Is now casting in a lot of trouble. He does not have his flash. Gets knocked back by the Cassante. And Lucid will clean that one up. So a kill apiece here for both teams.
Yeah, ends up being Bro who pick up the grubs in the extended play. Now they are looking for more.
Yeah, Lucid going to go back in. We have the Tempered Fate coming in, a TP as well onto the flag, and I think they're just going to try to turn onto the Pantheon here. Gideon, though, blocking a ton of the damage, gets the execute with the Q, and now he's actually just ulting out! What a play from Gideon to survive!
I think D+ went into that, kind of forgetting how slow these early game TPs are, banking on getting Showmaker there soon enough to back them up, but the power of Nautilus Pantheon early with the CC and also Pantheon's burst damage, the execute damage, kind of just outmatching. But a great play there from Gideon to disengage from that. Bit of a heist he pulled off there.
Yeah. You got to respect the Pantheon's ability to trade there when he's low.
So Showmaker's kind of had pressure throughout this lane, looks for this angle, and because his support and jungle were just in Banana Brush, he thought, I'm safe. I have my team there that I'm leaning towards. The Nautilus angle was pretty fantastic. Here, though, casting just gets picked off. Fairly easily done. But it's his follow-up play. They look for more, and D+ opt into it. They could very easily get out of this situation, but they opt into the play because they're like, hey, we have a TP coming in. Bartle can stall out. And then look at the minimap. And he's finally here. It takes so long, and I think even though TP got changed a while ago, I think teams still haven't completely nailed down the timing of how long it actually takes. Because you compare to old TP, it's like, how long does it take for you to... It takes exactly this much time.
Yeah.
Whereas now, it's like a distance factor is also a thing.
Yeah, it's more ambiguous. It can be hard sometimes to actually get the timing right, and a lot of our pros just don't.
Yeah.
They just don't get it right.
It was also, part of the thing was he TP'd to the flag. I'm not sure if there just wasn't like a good ward in the area, so maybe was waiting for that thing he could TP to. If he TP'd earlier and then the bottle came down. Honestly, there was a ward like a little behind them that they walked past near Raptors. If he just TP'd to there really early. I mean, it's hard to say. Maybe Bro just wouldn't have opted for the play, but if he'd been able to cut them off, could have been there soon enough to counteract the play. Right now, though, D+ 1,000 gold ahead, mostly just due to the bot lane quest being finished, so Bro should be able to even that out as soon as Teddy gets his done.
Yeah. There's some shenanigans early on. You know, Teddy got pushed out a little bit. It wasn't anything gigantic, and he is going to be just fine. It's good for Smash, though. It's just kind of farming it out, doing what you want on the Sivir.
Smash has 2 plates, already has his Yuntal stacking up.
Okay, interesting. We are going to have the Temper Fate come down, and now Lucid will follow up and try to go in on a Roamer. Actually does quite a lot at the end there, but he did also quite a lot of not so good stuff before that, so he does die.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the flag and drag was from Lucid. I think I have to see that again to really get to grips with what happened.
He didn't have vision. I think he just assumed that Gideon would 100% follow. And so he just like flag and drag, but it looks so short and kind of
I'm going to have to see it again.
rough.
I think Bro also kind of got stun locked because they were throwing everything at Jarvan and kind of layered CC in the bad way, like overlapped it. But they did get the kill, which is the main thing. Okay, replay.
Like he just assumed he was being followed.
Even with the context, even with your justification, which, you know, admittedly makes sense, still just looks weird.
He should not have gone in.
Yeah.
Clearly, he should have just flag and dragged out. I think Bro kind of collapsed a lot faster than he thought they would.
Yeah, there was also the overlap of like the shockwave and the Nautilus hook, so they didn't layer out the CC well. They overlapped it, and even then, I think Bro were like, "What? Let's just kill him!"
Yeah,
and threw everything, including the Ezreal ult, which flew by. But yeah, not the best Jarvan play we've seen. It's Ocean Soul, by the way. Not the best dragon we see.
Yeah, the souls today have been kind of lackluster. It's Motion Souls, a Chemtech Soul.
Did you say Motion Soul? It sounded like you
I didn't say that, but
it
that sounds cool.
Like you said Motion. So
maybe I did. I don't know. Let's play the replay back. What did Valdez say? I don't know.
Did he say Motion?
Yeah, we're going to have to see that. We're going to have to hear that again. Instead, we're going to go for a big Cataclysm. Lucid this time says, well, I've done my job. See you later. Now the TP comes in, and that'll be the end of that. Temper Fate going to catch Namgung, but only Namgung. Xiu quite tanky against magic damage, especially going to find Roamer with the fail flash. And down he will go, and that'll be another kill on the board here for Showmaker.
Honestly, I think D+ setting up this play wasn't too inspiring, but it was Korea with the stun who made the play come together. Roma caught out by that, and then the fail flash adds insult to injury. And now D+ have that 1,000 gold lead despite Teddy having finished the gold quest. So feels a bit more legitimate when we're looking at it. A lot of tools available to Bro, and they just didn't use them. They felt like they came into this on the back foot. We see it kind of started off here. Lucid goes for an engage, but it's into an Ezreal. It's hard to really achieve too much with the Cataclysm. And D+ backing up a little bit. They have this flank from Chiwu. I think Roma needs to be aware you're out of position. You just need to flash over the wall way sooner. Waited until the bar stun hit, he got CC'd, and then failed the flash anyway. I think a heads-up flash there would have made all the difference.
Gideon already using that Aegis. He's in a bit of trouble, but he has some support from Namgung. Teddy also coming over here, shelling out the damage behind enemy lines. Big equalizer on the 2. Casting's going to show up right on time, and they take down Smash as well, as Gideon eventually does die, but baits in the enemy team.
They chase down Gideon, and he just go down, but it just takes so much time to kill a Pantheon, especially as he had Flash, and they pay so heavily. Bot lane, all sums burn, and both of them dying regardless. The heavy price just to pick up a single Pantheon.
Showmaker, I think, might be able to get a turret, but we do have Roamer coming up. He's going to be spotted, so Showmaker denied the turret.
Okay, I thought he was going to shockwave him. It doesn't go for it in the moment. So the Aegis sprint from Gideon, I think that's a signal to like, we can make this happen, we can go. The Gideon flashes over the wall, able to disengage from the situation, and Teddy's just doing this free damage. 2v1, looks like he might lose, but the equalizer comes in for casting and allows him to clean up those kills. Teddy just on fire already with his Ezreal, it feels. A big threat they have to contend with. And we also did kind of see just Sundered Sky doing Sundered Sky things in that fight. Gideon just going like 1, 2, 3, like whack-a-mole, getting all his procs.
Okay, we have the this is exactly the replay we wanted to see. Let's play the clip. Yeah, the souls today have been kind of lackluster. It's Motion Souls, a Chemtech Soul.
Did you say
okay,
Motion Souls?
So I said some Ocean Souls very fast.
So it sounded like...
So I said some Motion Souls.
It sounded
so
like...
I did, but also I didn't? I don't know.
We need like a... We've obviously had the replay, We need the analysis.
Yeah, can we throw to the desk? I think they need to break this down.
Does this qualify? Did he say motion soul? Some ocean soul? Some ocean?
Some ocean soul.
Some ocean?
Some ocean soul.
So motion?
Some motion.
So motion soul?
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is beyond my scope. I don't think I can actually analyze
This
this
is
any
a tricky
further.
one,
Yeah.
honestly. Also, wouldn't Cloud Soul be the motion soul? That's the one that makes you
It would, yeah. Or
Faster.
Hextech, right? Because you get the gates.
Yeah, that's not
Or
really the
Chemtech, 'cause
soul.
you
That's,
get the
that's the those are the rifts. They're not the souls. Okay, apparently
Right.
we have top men on standby on the space today to analyze. So
Well, we're not going to have that timing just yet, as we do have the Tempered Fate coming on in. Smash potentially in a bit of trouble. Doesn't have his flash. He kind of just has to disengage. Big Cataclysm, but Lucid immediately dies. And now Smash is like, I can't get close to them because they're just going to kill me. As eventually they just leave Namgung to die, and that'll be enough. As now casting looks like he's going to be the one the Shockwave totally misses. As feels like Bro just one by one being torn apart here. DK going to get the better of the fight.
if that shockwave hit, you saw the theory behind it. You saw what they were looking for. But good movement from D+ to avoid that. Both of their carries under threat of getting connected on by that. The end result is D+ come out ahead in the fight. And it feels like Hanji and Brianna looking for that key moment, not able to find it as of yet. I think Korea's got a ton of value throughout these fights on the Bard. Ult here to stop the Nautilus ult onto Smash, buy him some time so he can get his cooldowns back. And then getting so many stuns in this situation. Like here, catching the Nautilus so they can just finish him off. And Bro have definitely lost some momentum in this fight, so they want to back away. But look at this Shockwave. Look how close it is to catching Smash and Showmaker. If that connects with the Equalizer there as well, that could have turned the fight around, but unfortunately does not land.
And I understand Bro going that deep as well. It was a Sivir with no spell shield, no flash. You have a Nautilus very nearby, and Gideon is able to ult over the top, but the peel was just beautiful.
I think we're seeing some great Bard play from Cray. You know, we've seen it before, but this is when Bard could be the most frustrating, when he just shuts down all of your engages and buys time.
Okay, so we're going to throw over to Dagon with the important analysis here.
Yes, after further review of the very important replay, we believe that Brendan Berger Valdez did say Samotion. Samotion Soul. What does that mean? Back to Brendan Valdez.
All right, thank you, Dagon. That's going to be the challenge used on the play. And a timeout burns.
I feel like that hasn't answered my questions at all. Samotion?
Yeah, I don't know, like... Okay, so he's saying that I said Samotion, which is like a new word, but he doesn't know what it means. So that's the official ruling on the play.
I would have, if we'd gone with ocean or motion, I would have known where we stood. Now we're just in some middle ground.
Yeah.
All we know is that D+ are one step closer to securing whatever it is.
Samotion.
Samotion.
Jisun said that it sounded like Dagon said that I said Samosa Soul.
Okay, do we need analysis on what Dagon said?
What did Dagon mean by that? Can we get an analysis from...
How many layers deep are we going to go?
You know, if this were like 2017, we would have so much downtime.
What, 2017 game?
Just the amount of lull state that you had back in the day.
I mean, we have Teddy playing for a team with green colors.
Yeah.
You can just imagine.
It's basically the same thing, right? You don't want to engage onto a Nautilus with Flash, who's next to a Pantheon with 2 items, and Teddy, who's... He's not, like, more fed than Smash, but he's relatively fed himself.
He's in a good spot.
The 280 carries are feeding. You know, they're not feeding. They're getting fed together simultaneously.
They're feasting.
Yes.
Or they've feasted because they've already eaten.
Okay, well, that doesn't quite work, but still a Nautilus with Flash.
Okay, they get his Flash. That's something at least. Not going to be up for the next Dragon fight. try and push down this mid tower, and Bro just don't have the numbers.
Oh, nice little play here from Xiu. That's going to be the flash out of Gideon now as in goes Lucid. Tries to flag drag on the Gideon as look at that equalizer. Going to do quite a lot to zone away the team, and now Teddy is just trying to capitalize on this alongside of casting. They have the damage, they have the chase, and they will take down Xiu.
Oh, the ult!
And the ult's going to hit too. Doesn't quite get the kill on a Lucid though. As now we got a Pantheon over the top. Here comes Gideon, the spear will land. I think eventually Smash is just gonna get chased down. How do you get away from this team? It is so annoying to do so, and now they're thinking about this Baron.
I think they can go for it. Lucid super low, has to reset. Casting can TP back in. Roma can TP back in. They're gonna go for this Baron, and a play where D+ were like, look, we got a couple of summoners, a tower, maybe we get a kill, suddenly turns into Bro taking control of the game. Now Showmaker is here, but with no ultimate. I'm just gonna pick up the Honey Fruit, which definitely is gonna help him out.
Yeah. Lucid's here. He's right there. He's got an angle. They're just going to hold on the DPS. Good flash here from casting, and I think with that, Lucid just doesn't have another way to get into the pit. As Roamer as well in a rough spot, but actually going to set up Gideon for a kill, who eventually will die, but that makes it a 1-for-1 at the end of the day, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, Gideon was always going to die. Had no flash, had no ult, no way to get out of the pit. The fact that they get the ult to make it a 1-for-1, phenomenal. And this is the play where, you know, D+ are getting a couple of sums. This is fine. They got the tower. This is fine. Lucid opts to go in, though. This is when it stops being fine. And this equalizer, putting a lot of damage on a Lucid, a lot on the Xiu, and suddenly the chase begins, and Bro sense this is a fight that we can win. They start chasing down targets, and we even see the recall get started by Lucid. They're like, hey, we need to get back onto the map in case they go for Baron. They don't give them the time. They're like, you think you're getting back on the map? We're still fighting. They don't hear no bell.
Yeah. Teddy was just sprinting at them the whole time.
By the way, I said no bell, not noble. Like noble.
No bell, peace.
No bell? No.
What did Onks mean by that?
Yeah, so here, Gideon is just never getting out the pit. They go for Rowan, but the shockwave into the damage from Gideon is just such a great combo that otherwise we would have seen 2 dead from Bro, and we would have seen Lucid die there. But Roma kind of redeeming himself for that unfortunate shockwave earlier. Now they have Baron in hand, and do want to try and get access to some of these towers. Remember, Bro have not taken a single tower this game.
It's kind of insane, actually.
Kind of hard into Sivir and Victor to take down those towers.
Yeah.
And D+ just pop the on the hunt to try and hunt them down.
I do think that this is one of these teams, you know, I mentioned it earlier on in the game where it's like, the wave clear is so insane. I don't know if Bro win without Baron, especially with a game that's this close so far.
Yeah, D+ still have a gold lead, and the Baron power play has been pretty small.
Yeah, and
So-
Teddy's also in this game. So you remember that 94-minute game, that was an issue because they were playing into Azir and Sivir. They just could not end the game.
You know, when you say, do you remember that 94-minute game? If memories take up certain amounts of space, how much space does that 94-minute game take? That's a lot of memory devoted to that when you think about it.
So you would think on paper it would be like double the time of a 47-minute game,
That would make sense.
but actually because it was so memorable, it takes up more space.
Wow. I'm glad we could establish this.
That's getting the analysis in there for you. Xiu is already super low. Teddy is just... Teddy doesn't get hit by anything. It just
Teddy-
feels like he's like...
The equalizer.
He's dunked himself in oil. And he's just slipping all over the place, and nobody can do anything about it.
I feel like there's this element of respect that D+ are given to Teddy because he has no flash, and yet he will use his arcane shift, and they're like, no, I don't think we can hit him. I don't think we should go for it.
Well, they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, they don't with the skill shots they throw, but they have a job, and they just seem very cautious about committing on this Ezreal. Teddy playing to the limits. They will secure the dragon. Will they look for more? Showmaker there.
Yeah, Showmaker's got a nice angle here on a Teddy who's just going to use the disengage cone, and he gets over the wall, and there's the shockwave, but it's only going to hit the Bard, and now we got Showmaker just sprinting at them. You see Bro trying to lose this one gracefully, but they're going to lose 2, as at least they got Lucid somehow.
Yeah, they did manage to get the dragon as well, and Teddy managed to survive. But Showmaker trying to take the game into his own hands. We see this play here, and I think D+ are struggling with their approach to fights. Showmaker finds a good angle out of the vision, lack of vision, so he gets Teddy chunked down. Lucid engages on the Pantheon, which is kind of not being working phenomenally, but then the spell shield from Smash on the Shockwave allows him to push forward. Showmaker flashes over the wall and has tons of damage, so Bro have to back away.
Yeah, it's quite a scrappy game with a lot of damage on both sides. I mean, 3 potential carries for Bro. 3 for DK because Cassante is also a carry. But Showmaker is doing quite a lot of damage, and this is really before the Sivir gets fully online as well. So you can imagine what that DK late game is going to look like. But Bro are no slouch in the late game either, so it could get very interesting, especially because the game is still very close. I mean, D plus Kia do have a slight lead, but 2 dragons apiece. You got a very fed Ezreal on the side of Bro, very fed Victor on the side of DK.
A Fedzreal? No, that sounds terrible. I'm never saying that again. That was a one-off.
How about just a Fezreal?
Now I just think of Ezreal wearing a fez. Which would be pretty, pretty
that's
great.
cool.
I like that a lot more. We should have that as a skill.
Lucid is just dead. He's just dead. He was just standing there dying. Bro, like, you're not allowed to access our jungle. What's that?
I seem to remember Ezreal Q's being a skill shot, but it just doesn't look like it anymore. Teddy just doesn't miss. He just hits. And I think it's just that straightforward. Just hit.
I mean, Teddy on form is really something to behold. Like, there's a reason why this guy has so many fans and is so legendary, even though he's been on a lot of, to be honest, not the best rosters and hasn't necessarily been in the best form his entire career. But when he's on form, it's like, whoa.
I thought he was on Ezreal, not... I don't know what this other champ you mentioned is. Form?
It's a new one. Sorry. Yeah, a little bit of a spoiler. Yeah.
I'll have to see that one. Void Staff now for Roma. Felder's Grudge for Teddy. Some big spikes coming through. It feels like even though the gold is in favor of D+, tempo vibes in favor of the Bros right now. Teddy is just such a looming threat. Mostly because he just hits all the skill shots. That is why.
I mean, we have all this information about the numbers and stuff, but the players themselves, like, what they're experiencing is Teddy kind of just doing a bajillion damage and having no way to lock him down if you're D plus Kia.
Oh.
Nice try from Nangung, actually, but that wall just a little bit too rotund.
That's the Bard Rock.
Yeah.
No.
It does kind of have like a little, you know, rounded shape there on the left.
Yeah, you can't bend the dredge line around that.
Yeah.
This was Teddy waiting this pocket of vision, and he just goes, I will hit everything. And he does. And obviously you hit those Mystic Shots, you get the cooldown refund, gets a second Arcane Shift. As a Jarvan, a fed Ezreal is just your nightmare. And Teddy can comfortably play out of range of pretty much all of D+.
All right, there's no Arcane Shift now. They're going to force the flash, but already a bunch of damage done to Lucid, who's going to have to flash himself. Namgung also pretty low, though. The Equalizer doesn't do a whole lot, but it forces flashes and smashes out of position. Just dead immediately. She was like, well, I'm Cassante. I do the knock-up, and now I'm going to die. As he's alone against 5. He's just trying to take out Namgung if he can, but Namgung just running in circles. Nicely done, and that'll be Baron to Bro.
Try and engage on Teddy. It sounds like the right move. He's a fed Ezreal. We have to shut him down, but he has flash. He has terrain to move behind, and he ends up just dishing out all that damage regardless. And the problem is, you commit so heavily on this Ezreal, you don't get him, and it means the rest of Bro are just free to do what they want. They're threatening here with the On the Hunt, but the Arcane Shift's away, but then think, hey, we can go for him. No Arcane Shift. Unfortunately, he has the flash, gets it over the wall, even with the Cataclysm jutting out a little bit. And then the rest of the team comes in, cuts them off. Casting's there on the front line. Gideon's getting on top of the Sivir. And Shu, unfortunately, as tanky as he is, doesn't have the damage to even kill Namgun.
Yeah, when you consider the decision-making of D plus Kia, I think a large factor of why they went so deep in the enemy jungle was because, as you mentioned, the idea is we got to deal with Teddy. We got to take him out, and they go so deep to do that that it really just, it really is not great for D plus Kia. Now they've fallen pretty far behind. Bro had the tempo vibes, but now, I mean, you mentioned how there weren't a lot of turrets on the maps that they had taken, but with the Baron buff, able to get mid, able to get bot, and the push is on.
Yeah, one thing I will say, Teddy now flashless, very strong, but a little bit more vulnerable, so... Oh, this big equalizer, so much damage.
Yeah. And there's... It's not like an equalizer where you're trying to combo it and follow up and get kills. It's essentially a real zoning ult. Gonna get them off of the turret.
Tower going down bot lane. They're looking for this mid lane tower pretty low. Are D+ going to try for an engage or just grin and bear it? They've got a decent amount of wave clear. Obviously, it's not enough to protect all your turrets against Baron. Oh, they're looking for casting now. He has flash, though.
Yeah. I mean, Korea's been good about getting flashes in this game.
Yeah. I think
it's just, what about the follow-up, you know?
I think, honestly, if he'd gone for, like, the flash auto a Q for the slow, and then he could have bard ulted after, because obviously, if you slow him, Lucius going to get in range to Cataclysm, casting might have to flash, and then you can ult after the flash. Maybe that's the passage of play that would have led to a kill there. But in the end, they get casting's flash. Korea ends up keeping his. And at least that's something that they can tick off there. It's such a big gold swing, though. Over 3,000 for the Baron power play.
Hey, so bro, Gideon's able to feed that blue buff over to Roamer, who is pretty low on mana, but also Teddy has blue buff himself, so everybody stacking them. And they're just sieging the turret pretty straight up. I mean, with Baron buff, it's going to be difficult for the entire wave to get cleared, especially those back cannon minions, even with the Victor and the Sivir. 4,000
now on the Red Bull Baron power play.
Teddy is just... He's like untouchable. He doesn't have flash. He arcane shifts in to a Jarvan, does not care. And Career's like, you know what? Let me try. Let me give it a shot. It's not going to work out if you guys go in one at a time, that's for sure.
It feels like he's just taunting them. Just in their faces, like
he's
daring
farming.
them. Yeah.
You know?
He's just daring them to engage on him. And when they do, he just nips away. And it's like, okay, thanks for the cooldowns. Endless Hunger now picked up. If you thought his Arcane Shift was always up before, it's always going to be up.
Yeah. Actually. And see what he builds last.
EA, I presume.
Probably, yeah. Probably should be.
Yeah.
Especially on Ezreal, a champ where if you do respawn, you can just shift away.
The only alternative would be Bloodthirster, and he already has Gluttonous Greaves and Endless Hunger for sustain. So likely just going to be GA for that extra safety net. He's doing a ton of damage right now. 3,400 gold ahead of the Sivir. And when you look at Sivir's items, those are some good items. You look at Showmaker's items, those are some good items. But it just feels like they're not able to connect onto targets they need to. Smash's game has felt relatively quiet in comparison to the enemy AD carry.
Yeah. I think it's a symptom of not really having the ability to lock down targets reliably. You know, you have a Bard ult and you have a Jarvan. Those are like the two big pieces of CC you have in your kit as a composition, but it's against Ezreal. So, you know, he's just going to be able to dodge everything. Teddy also has done a good job of just walking out of Bard ults. You know, he hasn't even used the shift to get out of those.
Yeah.
Showmaker has somehow done more damage than Teddy
Showmaker has been doing a good amount of damage in these fights, but unfortunately just hasn't always stuck to the targets he wants. And now in the situation where Gideon has a GA, Casting has a Seekers, Roma has Zhonya's, Namgung is pretty tanky as far as Nautiluses go, and Teddy has his flashback up. So, is there a good target? Doesn't really seem like it anymore. They were struggling to engage in him when he was flashless Arcane shifting in.
Yeah.
Now he has his flash. This gets significantly more difficult. Dragon up in 30 seconds would be Soul for Hanj and Brion. And normally I talk about, you know, tanky champions benefiting from that, but Roma and Teddy have been pretty mana thirsty, so the mana regen actually pretty high value.
Well, they're going to get the Arcane Shift, and also Namgung, who's just going to flash away. Casting does TP into this one. The hook not really going to do a whole lot. Namgung in a lot of trouble, actually. And down he will go. They use the Cataclysm to get him, though. So using a decent amount here for D+ Kia to pick up just the support of Bro.
Yeah, a lot of cooldown spin that they now don't have to deal with Teddy, but they now have a 5v4 ahead of them, which is pretty valuable in and of itself. D+ still pretty healthy, apart from Lucid, who have to reset. Teddy, the one to pick up the blue there, burning through mana pretty quickly. It's kind of what I'm talking about with the Ocean Soul. Both him and Roma just end up really low on mana a lot, so there's value in that.
Yeah.
But for now, D+ are setting up on it, but can they deal with the poke?
They're just going to try to combo with the Orianna. They get on top of Showmaker, but look at the angle that Shiu gets on a Teddy. It's big, but they don't take him out. Where's the kill on a Teddy? Oh, where's the follow-up? It's just not there, but they're still going to be able to wipe the front line. Teddy looking for a little bit more, and he's really trying to make this game all about him. It's kind of insane.
He has sustain. He can go for this. There's still a Cataclysm available.
What do they do? I mean, we have a TP coming in. This is an Orianna. There's no smite here for Bro. That's going to be an interesting ult from Career, and he's just going to die as the Jarvan does pick up the Dragon. And Shiu just going to have to hop over the wall to get out.
Okay, D+ get the Dragon and manage to come out ahead in the team fight just about. Actually, I think it's even overall in kills with them picking off Namgoon at the start, 3 for 3. But they get the Dragon, which is a win enough in and of itself. The fact they didn't kill Teddy there is kind of insane. Shiu had him. I was convinced he was dead. He was so low.
That was the moment where it's like, oh, they got him. Okay, DK, nice.
Yeah, he actually ends up getting targeted a little late in the fight because Engage comes in for the shockwave with the Pantheon. But Shiu flashes for him, and then Teddy tries to flash the ult from the Xante and ends up backfiring, and then only Career was hitting him after the fact. And Career just didn't have the damage. That Mystic Shot snipe onto the Sivir was huge. And Teddy, just the fact he survived there is crazy. Able to move back in and start providing pressure. They don't have a smite though, so very hard to stop D+ from getting the Dragon.
Yeah, the Baron on the map right now. You can see that Bro were posturing around it, but they did not pick it up just yet. A lot of damage in the Showmaker already, actually.
You know what? Teddy went the Bloodthirster instead of the GA. He's like, I don't plan on dying, but I will heal. I will
like,
always
if I die, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, he's got insane amounts of sustain now.
All right, Lucy's trying to find the angle.
And there's Grievous Wounds on Career and Smash, but they're not always going to be in range to hit him. There's no Thornmail or Bramble Vest on Shiwu right now.
All right, just going to start hitting the Baron once again. True Shot Barrage doesn't do a whole lot. Maybe a little bit of damage to the Sivir, but Smash is just going to heal that one up.
They don't know.
Yeah, they're just going to try to do a bunch of damage. See this ult, this time for Career is big, and now the lineup on a Teddy. He tries to get away, but the follow from Lucian is big! And that's exactly what they were looking for. They finally took out the Ezreal, and that's all they had to do.
And Career with the big board play. That might just be enough to end the game. Death time is long. I think they've done it. One big fight was all it took. They take down Teddy. And that one death for the Ezreal is all they need to take game one.
Wow. Well, just hit the Barn ultimate finally, and then the follow-up will be there. The no flash on Teddy actually ends up mattering big time at the end of the day. He could have flashed the Cataclysm and maybe continued, but it was not enough.
Career in the clutch moments, he just has it. He has the it factor.
Fortunately, individually, you're not going to be able to win the game a lot of the time. And, you know, Teddy did a great job, but it just felt like, especially in that last fight, it was a bit all over the place. And D+ Kia very proactively forced the fight on their terms.
Yeah, and Lucid had a rough game. We'll be honest, playing Jarvan and Ezreal, not that fun, but generally struggled. But that last fight, he knew what his job was, followed up on the Tempered Fate beautifully, and was able to take out Teddy.
좋아, 우리가 포지션 우리가 포지션 좋아. 여기도 시작부터 열어봐. 이제 넘어. 럼블 아 보여?
뭐야? 너 잠깐 나 크게 돌아볼게. 크게 돌아볼게.
천천히.
어때? 이제 볼만한데?
볼만하긴 해.
야 이거. 야 이제 잠깐만. 야야야 알았어. 이제. 잡은 거 같아?
야 봐줘.
오케이.
야
일단 미달 나이스!
다행이다.
아씨, 야 형이야 얘들아 가자.
바텀.